Wellness Week Live. Well, what's going on, everybody? I am your host, DJ Anthony. Look, it says it right there, so it's legit. And that's our resident PhD in biochemistry there. He's the guy with the health and the knowledge and all that stuff. So here we go. Okay, today's episode, stroke. Yes, stroke. Do you know someone who's had a stroke? What are the symptoms of a stroke? What is a stroke? How do you prevent a stroke? What are the causes of a stroke? We're going to talk about today on Wellness Week Live. Magnus, how are you?
I'm good. I basically took my 5-second commute from the gym straight into the office. So
That's right. Hey, man,
I just finished off like basically 5 minutes before we started here. So I'm ready to roll. How are you?
Yeah, man. Long commute for you. So, you know.
A question. Do you deck your house out for Halloween or no?
Whoa! Watch how you say that there. I said, what did he say? Do I deck my house? No, I do not. You know, look, I'm one of these people. I have a feeling you do, but I'm one of the, and I'm sure there's Star Wars galore everywhere. But I'm one of these people that I'm kind of like an understated, which is ironic because everything about me is very loud in your face and borderline annoying and rude. But when it comes to like how I dress or decorate, like I'm a very kind of understated elegance type of guy. Like if I were to do any decorating for Halloween, it might be like I'll put one pumpkin on the front step and that's it. Like Christmas comes around, I just get a Christmas wreath and I put it on the front door. That's it. Like I'm not into, you know, again, God bless people who go out and go nuts. That's cool, to each his own. But okay, Magnus, do you decorate?
My wife.
What's that?
So quick story. My wife, so her birthday was yesterday. So
buona cumpleaños, mia amiga.
Thank you. So it's always close to Halloween. So Halloween is kind of her biggest holiday when like everything is happening. So she's been and it's funny because when we moved to like we basically just missed Halloween last year. So we moved a couple of weeks after Halloween. And I'm like, okay, let's not buy a bunch of things. And so like the first thing she does in the Halloween, it's just like the whole front yard is filled up with blow up things and it's lightings and we have a smoke machine that's just going to use Halloween.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And you know what? Look, I know obviously there's guys that get into it, but I think more often than not, it's the partner or the lady in our lives that is like, oh, okay, honey, I'll do like Christmas or whatever, or Easter, or in this case, Halloween. And that's cool. Like, God bless. For me personally, I'm just like, you know, I like it and I admire it and I do a little something, but I'm not like, and you know what it is too? My life revolves around theater, lighting, and everything with the entertainment company. So I'm just like, you know, that's the other thing. It's like,
No, and I get it. For me, it's just like we don't celebrate Halloween in Sweden. So for me, it's I know what it is, but I like now the last years that I've been living here, I actually like live Halloween. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, man, America, baby, we do everything big, baby. You know, we don't go
big or go home.
We celebrate stuff that just, you know, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so
let's get serious.
Let's talk about stroke. Okay, so you know, I wanted to bring this up as I told you off camera. You know, there's been a couple politicians and people who are famous that have been very public about their health, particularly because they've had strokes of late. And I salute them for that, for bringing light to this, health problem. And I said to myself, wow, you know, we should talk about this because I think the viewers who are watching us now, and probably maybe you, I know myself, I know a few people who've had strokes, you know, through the years. My grandmother used to have them a lot, TIAs, the transient ischemic strokes. And so so I wanted to talk about that to kind of bring light to what is it, you know, and we hear about it all the time, stroke. So there's two types of strokes for the viewers out there. You have an ischemic stroke and you have an hemorrhagic stroke. Ischemic stroke is when, and I know you know this, I'm just talking to the viewers. An ischemic stroke is when you have an artery, or a vessel that has the cholesterol in it. It builds up. A piece of cholesterol breaks off, travels from wherever up into the brain and clogs that blood vessel, which is a no-no because then that stops the blood from that particular part of the brain. So that's an ischemic stroke. The hemorrhagic stroke is what it sounds like. You're hemorrhaging. Same stroke, same type of thing, right? Something breaks off, cholesterol chunk goes into the the vessels, but collapses or erupts your blood vessel. Now you're bleeding from within. Both suck, both bad. You don't want that problem. Then so those are two big ones. And then there's a subcategory to the ischemic stroke, and that is a transient TIA, transient ischemic stroke, and that is you get the clot and only momentarily for a few seconds or a few minutes. gets it gets clotted or blocked in the vessel somewhere, but then somehow wiggles out or whatever and gets release or breaks away free again and keeps traveling. So you get a momentarily your blockage and you do have some micro brain damage, but it's not a permanent thing, again, like the ischemic or the hemorrhagic. So the TIA is the least of the evil ones, but it's bad. Okay, so
that was a really good summary.
Thank you. Okay, so my grandmother used to have them, and it sucks because she had the TIAs, the smaller little devils that again would momentarily block blood flow and then break away and be free again. But slowly, you need oxygen for your brain. You don't get it right. You slowly parts die off. Now that I did a little reading on this, and by the way, folks, Magnus and I are only, we're two friends. We're just talking. We're not giving any medical advice. Always check with your doctor or your healthcare professional. We're just chatting about our lives and what we know about and experiences. Okay, so, but I always thought like, oh, dude, stroke, like that's just bad luck, or the shit happens, and what can you do? But and the more I come to read about this, it's not bad luck. Not all of it, but most of it is brought on by yourself, what you do or don't do in your life. Bad eating habits, no exercise, drinking, smoking, the usual culprits. And it broke my heart. I was like, wow, these people that I know that had that, like even my grandmother had bad eating habits, no exercise. I'm not saying people deserve this. We're just saying how things happen. So Magnus, what would you like to shed light on this? Because you're the one that's in the biochem and all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down, again, of course, don't smoke is one of the biggest things, because smoking and unfortunately kind of hardens up our arteries and everything like that.
Arteriosclerosis, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Keep on eating fish or omega-3s because that kind of keeps flexibility in the structure.
Yeah, can we talk about that real quick? So when you mentioned that, right, omega-3s, that is your fish, your salmon, that's your avocados, that's your olive oil, and what that does is it makes
seeds and nuts.
Right, almonds and walnuts, pistachios is one of the best nuts. What I wanted to say is, like, when you mentioned that omega-3s, what omega-3s do, and I know you know this, man, isn't talking to the viewers that don't know, omega-3s is you have to look at our veins and arteries and our vessels as basically piping for our home. And if that pipe gets brittle or starts to just get old, what happens? It cracks. So that's our bodies. Our bodies have piping. And when you have omega-3s in there, you keep this piping malleable and strong and flexible. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You don't want your veins and arteries and vessels to get stiff, because then they start to crack. So, right. Yeah. And this is why omega-3s are so important to consume, through eating fish and nuts and avocados. And this keeps those pipes in your body very malleable and flexible. And that's what you want. So yeah, that's one good way to help prevent a stroke. Go ahead, Magnus. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, of course. And then it's been linked to like too much processed carbohydrates like sugars and things like that. Again, I mean, it is what it is. And of course, like we shouldn't carry around like too much overweight either, because that could negatively affect us too.
I'm glad you said overweight, because some doctors might say obesity, and when everyone thinks obesity, you think 900 pounds. No. We're talking if you're 20 pounds overweight. If you're just a little bit, it's not good. You're increasing your chances every time you get 1 extra pound overweight. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Maggie.
Yeah. No. So those are a couple of things. So I mean, and of course, physical activity, like moving around, helps. Of course, heart health, anything that has to do with heart health. Eating a lot of fibers, things like that again. So we're looking again, like keeping your heart and like not just your heart. It's basically like all the arteries and blood vessels and everything like that in good health.
Right.
So
yeah, and I encourage anyone. I encourage everybody. I don't know if you've seen him, Magnus. He's out by you in Cali. Dr. Stephen Gundry. He's probably one of the world's most renowned cardiologist. He's a surgeon, and he talks about the importance of omega-3s, and he says, our whole goal in life is to put olive oil in our mouth every single day. Olive oil. Now he says, and I touched on this on another show before. You heard me say this, but Dr. Gundry says you should shoot for a liter a week. I'm like, bro. So, I mean, I've upped my olive oil and avocado oil, like, because after hearing him, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not do it. Listen, I'm putting it on everything. Okay, I put it in my morning shake. I put it on my eggs. I put it on my Ezekiel bread. I put it on everything. So I might be getting close to that. But that's how important. My point is, that's how important Dr. Gundry is saying this stuff is. And this is a medical doctor. This is not, some new age woo. Anyways, so Magnus, I want to touch on this. So the top 5 causes for stroke, and you can go on the CDC's website, and here we go again. It's just sad because we are killing ourselves. I used to always think that these strokes were, and I understand a stroke can happen to anybody anytime. It could be bad luck. You could have the most perfect diet and everything, but 99% of the time,
play a little bit of role there too.
What's that?
Genetics plays a little bit there too. I'm just adding that, but lifestyle is kind of a big centerpiece here.
100%. Americans love to say genetics because that's their past. Like, I can just crap on myself. Genetics. No. Nothing to do with smoking, right? Nothing to do with drinking. No, nothing to do with cake and cookies and sitting all day. No.
I just wanted to add that so people don't say that we're skipping by it.
Right.
We know that genetics have things, but we also know that's what we're talking about. That lifestyle and what you put in your body and how you treat your body is actually more important than your genetics.
Right. And by the way, I always say there's no one, people, and you're right, and people love to throw the genetic thing out but I always say, have you ever heard of epigenetics? And you know this, but it's just like where you can turn a light switch on and off to either express or not certain genes and trigger them or not trigger them. So again, like eating healthy, exercise, but anyways, so here's the
causes. Give us causes. Give us the causes.
Oh, hit 5. Yeah, right. Yeah. Drum roll, please. Okay, so, and it's sad because the top 5 causes, genetics is not on the top 5. The top 5 is high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, overweight, and diabetes. And these are all things we give ourselves. Now, anyone can say, again, genetics, but high blood pressure, you're going to tell me it's genetics. Okay, then you better be an Olympic friggin' athlete that eats celery and drinks olive oil to say that it's genetics. It's what we're eating, fried foods, And my thing is, like, people will say, well, that's no life then. How is that living? Well, how's living with a stroke though? Like, that's better than, like, get off the fried foods, get off the cake and the pasta and the cookies and the sitting and the juicy drinks and the beer and the alcohol and the smoking. Like, would you rather have a stroke? Because, and when
it's the same thing, and this is what I tell a lot of my clients when we talked about it here too, and I'm not trying to be like come across as a unsenseless butthole, basically.
Right.
Choose your heart. I mean, like down the road, you are going to pay for how you treat your body. I mean, it's
down the road. Down the road can happen tomorrow. It might not be when you're
exactly.
You might take the dirt nap tomorrow, or be like, again, slurred speech. You can't move, you can't walk, and you're 35. Like, that's living. And I always say, when you eat right and live right, you're happier, you're healthier. Anyways, like the soda, the beer, the wine, the smoking, the cake, the cookie, the pasta, the sitting, the binge watching. That's destroying you. That's not making you happy. It's destroying every part of your mind, body, and spirit. 100%. Man, just real quick though, I wanted to talk about, so what can we look out for our loved ones and friends? How do we know if someone's having a stroke? Obviously, we're not doctors, but again, just looking it up here, I mean, muscular difficulty walking, paralysis on one side if your side of a face starts to droop and you're starting to slur, it really hits everything because it's hitting this computer here. So blurred vision, difficulty speaking, fatigue, muscle weakness. Now, again, these could be other diseases. It could be allergies, but typically it's
loss of motor control.
Right. And common sense. If you suspect something is really off about this person, because like 2 hours ago they were fine and now they're like, whatever, call 911. I mean, like, and you got to see a doctor too. I mean, and if you have to go on medication, go on medication. But there's a lot we can do to prevent this, like you alluded to: exercise, eating better, getting off the alcohol, stopping the smoking, getting up, walking for a minimum of 1 hour a day, get up, vertical, walk, like if not work out, but the diet is again, food is medicine or food is poison. So is there anything you wanted to add, Magnus? Because we went a little over time before we wrap this bad boy up.
Again, super important topic. I'm glad you brought it up. And also like having an understanding that with a lot of lifestyle diseases, you are like, you're the one in charge of if the risk is going to increase or if it's not going to increase, if you're going to reduce the risk, right?
Yeah.
So choose your heart.
And the people that I know, the two people that I know that got the strokes, again, they didn't deserve them, but we're having an adult conversation here. They had bad diets and they did zero getting up and walking as an exercise daily for an hour. And one of them was my grandmother, who, may she rest in peace, I would die for her. She was the best. But I look back, wow, all carbs, all sitting, very, very little vegetables. And that's it. That did it to her. That's how she got these TIAs. Yep. She wouldn't have gotten them. I'm very convinced wouldn't have gotten them, or would have gotten much, 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 much less of them if she would have had more vegetables, more fiber, more exercise, more walking, more getting vertical, but, and if you're smoking out there or drinking, I mean, you are, boy, again, you better have a come to Jesus moment before you have the come to Jesus moment. All right. Anyways, hey, take care of yourselves, people. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. We got a great bunch of shows coming up. We're signing out. Check out our next show.
Please subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. We are climbing. You don't even understand right now. All right. Thanks, everybody. Magnus, I'll check you out later, man. All right, guys.